Look at the ground shifting beneath these structures. We are seeing the physical separation of traditional international standards from specific localized requirements emerging in India. In 2019, the Indian data protection landscape was in its infancy. There was no dedicated domestic law, and the professional ecosystem was just beginning to take shape. At that time, professionals relied on this heavy block, the European GDPR. Without a local equivalent, Indian data practices were being interpreted through a strictly foreign legislative lens. This created a structural misalignment. Attempting to force-fit Indian technological and business requirements into European templates left significant gaps in domestic compliance. Expanding the timeline, the local groundwork of the IT Act 2000 sat awkwardly beneath those international training overlays. But the Digital Personal Data Protection Act of 2023 drops into place, shattering the old overlays and establishing a boundary demanding specialized domestic knowledge. The DPDPA mandates fluency in Indian judicial interpretations and localized governance practices, concepts that cannot be accurately taught through an international curriculum. To meet these mandates, the industry must transition away from generic templates. Mastering data protection in this environment requires a framework built specifically for the Indian legal and technological landscape. As the DPDPA made privacy a hard legal requirement, a massive influx of organizations rushed into the training space to capture the sudden demand for compliance expertise. The market quickly became saturated with generic designations. Short-duration programs issued titles like Certified DPO or Privacy Professional with increasing frequency. This matrix identifies a misconception. On the axes of duration and accountability, notice this dot at the bottom left, short course training. In its expanded view, the limitations are clear. These programs are attendance-based, focusing on static compliance checklists, lacking institutional governance. Now look at the top right. A professional certification is a different category of credential, defined by ongoing competence, ethical accountability, and sustained academic rigor. For the prospective student, the two categories are often indistinguishable. It is difficult to separate a weekend attendance certificate from a professionally governed credential. Relying on a generic title that lacks rigorous institutional oversight creates a false sense of security for organizations managing sensitive personal data. To address this governance gap, the Foundation of Data Protection Professionals in India and the MYRA School of Business have formalized a joint memorandum of understanding. This partnership creates a model where an AICTE-approved business school integrates its methodology with the specialized knowledge of a leading data protection body. We can see this structure forming. On the left, the first pillar is industry pragmatism, built from FDPPI's specialized knowledge. The first block to slide in represents technical expertise in data audit and AI governance. The second block adds a localized operational standard, the DGPSI framework, designed to address Indian data security nuances. Securing the top of the pillar is human capital, an active network of practitioners providing real-world insights. A second pillar rises parallel to the first. This is the MYRA School of Business, providing academic rigor. As these blocks slide into place, they contribute institutional quality assurance and a structured learning methodology. This pillar is secured by a research-oriented approach and the credibility associated with an AICTE-approved management institution. True capability in data governance is reached only when these two pillars meet, where practical industry experience is firmly anchored by institutional academic validation. For the modern professional, understanding the text of the DPDPA is merely the starting point. Compliance in a corporate environment requires a much broader operational range. Watch as the FDPPI and MYRA pillars merge into a dense core node, a hybrid professional credential built for complex problem-solving. From this node, a multi-spoke web sprouts outward, mapping the interconnected landscape privacy officers must navigate. The first nodes to populate are digital personal data protection and AI governance. Next, information security and cyber risk light up, representing the technical defensive layer of the professional's role. The outer edges activate to show corporate governance and regulatory compliance, where technical security meets administrative oversight. Successfully managing this specific combination of domains requires a high degree of ethical sensitivity and a commitment to responsible innovation. The modern professional must function as a synthesizer, translating complex data security constraints into effective corporate governance strategies. This framework treats professional education as a living process. It is an ongoing cycle of adaptation that continues long after the initial examination is over. The partnership is designed to foster a community of professionals who actively share implementation experiences and refine their practices in real time. Notice how the framework expands on the timeline. Branches grow to include original research and case studies. As time progresses, branches emerge for executive education and industry forums, flowing into the AI-driven digital economy, where data assurance is a baseline requirement. This Memorandum of Understanding formalizes a structure where academic rigor and professional practice are no longer separate. It establishes a baseline where competency is governed by institutional oversight rather than short-term training sessions. As India moves toward full implementation of the DPDPA, organizations will prioritize professionals who possess the specific integration of technical knowledge and business understanding. Building a domestic ecosystem of globally respected data governance professionals begins with replacing outdated training models with this synthesized, rigorous architectural standard.